Hey YouTube, Bumanchu here. I am coming up with another video. This will be essentially next video regarding the anime discussion videos that I will try to frequently come up with and upload. And this subject's been kind of boggling my mind for actually it's always been just something I just wanted to finally have a chance to talk about. And it's a debate that's been circling around the internet for as long as anime fans continue to be fans of their beloved anime. And that would be sub versus dub. Animes that you prefer watching in Japanese dub or in English dub. And it's my belief that what you prefer matters. It all depends on how the setting of the series, and we may even argue that ethnicities and cultural differences and such. But I believe it ultimately depends on preference, and it's all about the experience on the series, and it depends on how it's portrayed. Depending on how it portrays, it can definitely be enjoyed in both languages, I believe. So, I can't really think of a good example of a decent dub that I really enjoy. But this is going to be just throwing this out there. Code Geass has a pretty decent dub in my opinion. And I believe that series can be enjoyed in both languages, Japanese and English. The same can go with Steins Gate. You have an excellent scriptwriter like J. Michael Tatum, and he's a phenomenal voice actor first and foremost. But he's also known for writing good adaptation scripts, and essentially, when he wrote Steins Gate, he was essentially first primarily a fan of Doctor Who. Now, I'm not the biggest Doctor Who fan, or I've only seen very little of one of the series, but I will say that him being really into that lore of Doctor Who and Back to the Future, and just very familiar to Steins Gate, fits well with what Steins Gate had to offer. It definitely fits Steins Gate because of the language barrier. Just what I'm trying to get at is this: J. Michael Tatum rewrote the script of Steins Gate to the point it made it work. So, for instance, there was no way he could just simply repeat what Mayome Mamaro, which is the seiyuu of Okabe Rintaro, which is the scene of, I'm a mad scientist, it's so cool, son of a bitch. He can't repeat that line because it doesn't translate well when you're speaking to an English audience. They would have to understand the connotations of the joke. So something like basically maybe the jive, like that worked with Steins Gate because with that scene, because it translated well into the humor. So there are certain things that just can't be replicated because it's a different language. So that's another thing that I think that separates both dub and English dub and Japanese dubs. I say English and Japanese dubs because when people speak of subtitles, they refer to Japanese dub, Japanese spoken language. So the next thing I want to address is some series suit more with dubs, and others translate well with Japanese dub, and that's true. So, say for instance, you're watching an anime like Lucky Star. Now, there's a lot of references that many fans that watch Lucky Star in Japanese that essentially are Japanese fans would understand if they, or if you're an anime fan yourself, hardcore, would understand the references being portrayed in that series. Now, if you're watching this kind of blindly, you may miss some subtle references, and that alone um, is best suited for a Japanese dub, or even they have to make to the point where they have to rewrite the script and make some references to work with what they got to make it more suitable for an English audience. I mean, another thing I'm trying to get at is it's also subjective. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, typically more or not, even though some things, some wording may change or whatnot, you're still watching the same series. Choosing to watch it in one language or another does not take away the experience. I mean, honestly, these days I prefer subtitles because I've been watching a lot more series that I know that may or may not get picked up anytime soon, and that are, I mean, we're past the age where we have to wait for the whole process of licensing and waiting series to get on the air, getting some exposure. Now it can get immediate exposure on the internet, and we can watch series on certain animes on simulcasting services like Crunchyroll, Hulu, Netflix, Daisuke, just to name a few services. You can get them almost instantaneously. Whereas I used to watch anime in the 90s, and essentially, um, most of my exposure came from Toonami, and I was one of those lucky few that knew of DBZ way before it came out. And it had any exposure in the Western side of things. And my last and final point would be that I also personally believe that the voices should suit the character. Japanese or English, it really doesn't matter, as long as the voice actor that was picked due to their auditions suit the voice. And more often than not, and at least in my experience, to some degree they do fit. I mean, there's probably examples that some of the voices don't exactly fit the characters. And that excludes 4Kids, because 4Kids is, yeah, they're a totally different. That's a totally different beast right there, and I'm not going to get into that. But I do believe the voices should suit the character, and that the language between both of what you're watching, both versions that what you're watching, comes secondary. So that's my belief. Watch what you prefer. Get the experience out of the series. Realize that there are dubs that suit the series more. Say Cowboy Bebop, that's more Western, nice, so that fits more for the dub than if you were to watch it in sub or Japanese dub. And the voices should definitely fit the characters. And with all that in mind, I'd like to hear your opinions of what's your stance on Suffer's dub. And again, I want to create a discussion, and hopefully I could chime in more participation. So until the next video, see you guys later.